Hello. Thank you for joining me for Fast News tonight. As know the drill, we're going to let some people get in. I am not feeling too well, so please excuse my voice. Um, it is not normal today. I hope everything is working dandy. Yep, everything looks like it is working good, so we're all set. Like I said, just ignore my voice if you think it sounds a little off. It probably does. I'm not, I've been battling this cold or whatever it is these past few days, and man, it is. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've been sleeping a lot. I'll tell you that. I've been extremely tired as we're waiting for some people to get in here. And let's talk about one thing. How good are these Bills? And how cool is it that for the first time in my life, since I was probably like 5 years old, but for the first time in like my real life, the Buffalo Bills are a good team. And they're like the cool team to watch. Rainn Wilson giving Josh Allen shout outs and stuff like that. Super cool stuff. Super good time to be a Bills fan. But like, of course, the UB Bulls are good this year. The Buffalo Bills are good this year. And of course, we're in lockdown because of coronavirus. We can't even go to the games. So that's just Buffalo's luck here. Let's get into it. I don't want to stay on too long. My throat's kind of sore here. So, all right. So yesterday, Governor Cuomo announced 36 bars and restaurants across New York State had lost had their liquor license suspended. Three of the bars were here in Western New York, as you guys have probably heard. The Cowboy on Chippewa was one of those bars. Clinton Bar and Grill in West Seneca, and Big Shot Kennedy's Grill in Kennedy were all subject to being suspended. In total, that brings us to 279 liquor licenses across New York State that have been suspended since the pandemic has began. So today it was officially announced that Lloyd Austin will be the first African-American Secretary of Defense. Austin is a retired four-star general, and he is a board member on one of the biggest defense contractors and suppliers of missiles and bombs in the world, Raytheon. So I have mixed feelings about this. I'm not going to go into too much more detail. The Cowboy is a weird place, Jess. I agree. I've been there a couple of times. I'm not going to go into too much more detail today. I want to take time to focus on Raytheon, but it is cool that he is the first African-American Secretary of Defense. So we're just going to move on from there. We'll focus on that another day. We'll focus on Raytheon another day. Doug Patterson, a former Alabama judge, was sentenced to 4 years in prison today and 6 years of probation. Patterson stole almost $73,000 from a juvenile court fund and two of his former clients. All right, but before he was even appointed to be judge in 2016, Patterson stole $47,000 from a former client who was a disabled veteran, and about $600 from another client. And this was in 2016, before he was even appointed to be a judge. So maybe it's not super surprising. All right, let's talk about Kyle Rittenhouse again. John Pierce, who is the attorney representing Kyle Rittenhouse, has withdrawn from Rittenhouse's criminal case and instead will focus on civil lawsuits, right? Including suing various news outlets for slandering of character, right? I can't speak right today. This came after Assistant District Attorney Thomas Binger filed a motion alleging Pierce shouldn't be able to represent Rittenhouse due to significant personal and financial difficulties. Prosecutors say with Pierce's involvement in his #FightBack, which was set up to raise money for Rittenhouse, could lead to opportunities for self-dealing and fraud. Rittenhouse is a 17-year-old, of course, we all know, charged with shooting three and killing two of them and two protesters in a Kenosha protest, right? A video also surfaced shortly after that shooting, like literally hours after the shooting, of Rittenhouse a couple months before that, hitting a teenage girl in the parking lot. All right. And along with that, a bunch of other troubled. Yeah, I'm sorry, Kristen. It's tough for me to talk today, along with a lot of other troubling information about the teen's not so distant past. And I believe that's all going to play into these lawsuits that they're planning on. But again, the criminal case will definitely be of all importance. We're going to be watching that definitely when that comes. So 7 people were arrested in Portland at a place they called the Red House on Mississippi. The Kinneys, who lived in the house for longer than a decade, were set to be kicked out after their home was foreclosed. Protesters set up shop there first in September, camping out. A developer bought the house and plans to demolish the house. Yesterday, police showed up to clear out protesters who police say have been trespassing there for months. When they clashed with protesters, of course they did. Later yesterday afternoon, after the police left and after the clash with protesters and everything else, more protesters showed up to set up their own barricades. Ted Wheeler, the mayor of Portland, has given police authorization to end what he calls the illegal occupation and then said there will be no autonomous zone in Portland. So, yeah, thank you, Kristen. No, I appreciate it. I'm not perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. That's why I do these live. All right. The situation in Portland, I mean, I don't know a lot about that situation other than, the people being arrested and the videos that were surfacing, which is the only reason I'm talking about it. It was pretty brutal. But again, the mayor gave them permission to go and break that up. So now we're going to move into our last story here. Sorry, my throat's really bothering me, guys. Our last story of the evening, of course, comes out of Florida. Gregory Ramos, a 17-year-old, pled guilty today to killing his mother during an argument about his grades. In November of 2018, Ramos called 911 to report his mom was missing and his house had been robbed. However, investigators quickly got Ramos to confess to the murder of his mother. Ramos strangled his mother for about 30 minutes, then had 2 of his friends come over to help stage a robbery, and then they buried her body under a fire pit by a church. He pled guilty to first-degree murder, abuse of a dead body, and tampering with evidence. His deal calls for 45 years in prison. But, and this is the big but here, because I think just because a plea deal is reached doesn't mean it's an agreement. The judge can override this plea deal and still give him life in jail because he was tried as an adult. Now, I think that's something people forget. Like, just because you take a plea deal does not mean the judge has to honor that plea deal. I think that's something people forget. I think people think, like, once the plea deal is reached, it's automatically going to happen. No. The judge has to play ball in a lot of cases. So in this case, the judge can override it. Given the fact that the kid's 17, I can't see the judge overriding and giving a 17-year-old life in prison. And I do have a case I want to talk about tomorrow. I didn't get enough reading time in on it because I fell asleep, if I'm honest with you guys, because like I said, it is what it is. But there is an 18-year-old woman right now being tried. She could be looking at death penalty. We're going to talk about that case tomorrow. Say hi to Sylvester. Yeah, she's a cutie. She loves coming on camera. She loves bothering me while I'm doing this. Yeah. Say something to the people. Say something to the people. Yeah. So I'll see you guys later. All right. You guys have a great day.